Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and link to my sponsor they just put up a podcast on Podbean. You can go and listen to it. They're doing it I think they're doing it every day, but here's the first installment. Listen to this.
We start off with a recent podcast episode aired on May 10th, where Ripple's CEO, Brad Garlinghouse, voiced concerns over the U.S. government's increasing scrutiny of Tether, the world's largest stablecoin issuer. We now turn to our correspondent, Bella. What can you tell us about these developments?
Leslie, Garlinghouse did not provide specific details, but made it clear that he believes the U.S. government is targeting Tether. Tether's USDT stablecoin is pegged to the U.S. dollar, and there have been accusations of a lack of transparency regarding its dollar reserves. The recent actions of the U.S. government, such as subpoenas and increased scrutiny, suggest a growing unease with Tether's operations.
Garlinghouse acknowledges Tether's importance within the crypto ecosystem and expressed concern that a potential crackdown could have unforeseen negative consequences for the entire industry. This comes as his company, Ripple, plans to launch its own stablecoin in 2024, a slight delay from the previously announced launch date within the same year.
That's correct, Leslie. Ripple's upcoming stablecoin launch could potentially be impacted by the increased scrutiny on Tether. It's a developing story that we'll continue to monitor closely.
Thank you, Bella. As we continue to monitor the broader crypto industry, let's shift our focus to South Korea, where virtual asset service provider Infinite Block has joined the XRP ledger as a validator, following in the footsteps of SBI Holdings' SBI VC trade. This addition is seen as a significant boost for the XRPL ecosystem, fostering potential synergies and collaborations. Now, over to our correspondent, Michael. What can you tell us about these developments?
Indeed, Leslie. Infinite Block's participation as a validator is expected to impact both domestic and international expansion efforts. The company has emphasized its commitment to regulatory compliance and user protection, which aligns with the broader goals of the XRPL ecosystem.
In related news, Ripple's CEO, Brad Garlinghouse, recently discussed the company's ongoing legal battle with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission on the World Class podcast. He pointed out a significant victory for Ripple last year when a federal judge ruled that XRP sales on secondary markets did not constitute security offerings. This ruling is believed to provide greater regulatory clarity for the entire cryptocurrency industry.
That's correct, Leslie. Garlinghouse expressed confidence that the SEC will ultimately lose its battle against the cryptocurrency industry. He criticized the SEC's tactics, characterizing it as a bully that targets weaker players in the crypto space. His remarks come amid concerns voiced by Cardano co-founder Charles Hoskinson, who accused U.S. President Joe Biden of actively undermining the crypto industry in the country.
Thank you, Michael. As we've seen, the landscape of the cryptocurrency industry continues to evolve, with Ripple and the XRP ledger leading the way. And with that, we conclude our headlines for today. If you're interested in private investing opportunities, be sure to visit linkto.com. We'll see you back here tomorrow.
So that's the new Link to podcast. They call it Ripple Unicorn News, I think is the name of it. And you can go to Podbean to check that out. Look at this. This is another one of these chart people who is not an XRP person. These are the ones that interest me. And I'm not saying that he's right. I'm just saying that this one caught my attention. I've just inserted the green trend line, and look how price has interacted with from the bottom of the 2017 cycle to the top of the 2021 cycle, highlighted yellow. XRP will reach approximately $250 this cycle. Folks, if that happens, I will literally give Block Bull a kiss on the lips if need be. $250, look where's... And again, I'm not saying these right. I'm just saying... Boy, do I hope he's right. Woo! I can give him a kiss on the lips on my yacht. No, I don't want a yacht. On a yacht that I lease just on principle, just to say I did. but not buy. This guy says, don't create unnecessary hope. Just create a little bit of hope that it'll reach $1 in a month or two. He says, I don't create hope. I just present the data on the charts, hence breakout, end of year. Ideally, I want it all by next week. Brad Garlinghouse is calling for $5 trillion by the end of the year. And then we covered somebody that was calling for 9-point-something trillion also yesterday, I think. Stephen Narioff makes an interesting point. Brad Garlinghouse sounds the alarm on Tether scrutiny, warning of potential market turbulence, just as Binance's former CEO, CZ Binance, called out FTX's bluff with FTT. Revealing industry corruption can spark chaos. Investors scramble to trade their assets, leaving exchanges struggling to meet demands, causing ripple effects for others caught in the crossfire. Does Tether indeed hold the reserves they claim? And what's next in this potential drama? For me, the most interesting Tether question is, why have the feds left them alone? I agree with Molly Elmore. I think that they either cut a deal or they were propped up from the very beginning by the government with the three-letter agencies. Now, this is interesting because this, if anything will make the prices of crypto and a lot of other things go up, it's the Fed starting to cut rates. And I think that these people are right, because this would make sense, because this is what incumbent presidents do leading up to their election. They right as they head into their election cycle, they do all the things politically necessary to give the fake appearance of a healthy market.
Your basis, that's been trending up since October, running at around 4.8% now. And, again, as you highlighted earlier, the official target is 2%. So we're well away from that. So it really puts the Fed in a bad place, because I think, they keep emphasizing that, rates are actually tight, that, based on what they think a neutral rate is. No one knows what it really is, but where they estimate it is, that policy is actually tight. So I think they would like to move towards easing. But the problem is when you've got core services running at 4.8%, and, again, as you highlighted earlier, that just the traditional core rate, ex food and energy, is running, at around, 3.6, 3.7%. It's very hard for them to start signaling that, they're ready to ease.
And I guess, Nicholas, on that point, thinking about the core services number, we've seen that annualized rate, whether it's a 3-month.
So anyway, you don't have to listen to all that. The Fed is going to start cutting rates sometime in the fourth quarter. That would trigger all kinds of green candles, folks. Ripple X today, I believe. Today's the, let's see. Does it say what time? Today, yeah. Today at 11:35, XRPL grants and accelerator programs. They're going to do a Twitter Spaces on that. There's an interesting clip right here about stablecoin integration. I don't know. Let me see if they've got. I don't know who this guy is, but anyway, what he says is interesting.
I heard they want to launch the stablecoin on the XRPL, on the XRP ledger, but also on the Ethereum ledger. So what does it mean? So a lot of financial institutions are building on Ethereum, So the only thing that you need is a bridge, and I'm convinced they built a bridge for stablecoins from Ethereum into XRPL and vice versa. So you will just bridge the whole world with stablecoins. Developers are asking for it.
The whole world.
And, it's fantastic.
Oh, yes, fantastic. Here's another great one. This is Simon McLaughlin from Uphold, who was on with Thinking Crypto. Listen to this clip.
Now, there was news of Uphold partnering with Ripple. Tell us about that partnership and how you guys are working together.
Sure. We're a node in the Ripple ODL network, which is their payments product. What it does is help multinational companies move large amounts of treasury from one region in the world to another using crypto as the transport layer. And so for big companies, moving money around is expensive, slow, complex, and that Ripple's ODL solution, takes away a lot of the hassle, makes it cheap and fast to move money cross border. What we do is we service them in the US, UK, and European corridors, and so we convert XRP that's put into the client's account on Uphold. We instantly convert it into fiat, and then we handle payouts to banks in the UK, Europe, and US. So really, it's the crypto conversion and it's the payout to banks in those corridors that we look after. And for us, it's been a fantastic peek behind the curtains, because you can see that tens of millions of dollars is being moved by well-known companies now using crypto as the transport layer. And for the things that Uphold stand for and believe in, above all, we believe in blockchain technology as a way of just making the world a better place by introducing efficiencies, reducing costs, allowing greater financial participation and inclusion. And the utility use case for us is incredibly important. And one of the best examples right now is Ripple and its payment network, which is helping big companies move money around the world. And we're one of the nodes in that network that allow them to convert crypto into fiat and then to pay out to banks in some of those corridors. Wow.
Now, Simon, I know you probably can't answer this question, but the audience is going to want me to ask anyway. Are there any names of institutions that you can name drop, or that's all under NDA?
I'm sorry, I can't. But what I can say is there's some very well-known names. So, this is not like a fringe activity. There's some major corporations moving money this way. And I think it's such a tremendously exciting time for the industry, because the adoption by enterprises is likely to accelerate, in my view, with three things. Number one, the emergence of clear rules in many parts of the world. Secondly, I think Ripple's introduction of the stablecoin is going to massively increase adoption among banks and financial institutions, because banks employ people who understand fiat currency. They don't employ people who understand crypto. So I think the sales proposition to banks is going to be made way easier through the stablecoin.
Boom, big banks. And then here's another interesting clip. This is from the CEO of Franklin Templeton.
Well, tell us more about innovation and how it's affecting Franklin Templeton. And let me pick out one thing specific, tokenization. You were early in on tokenization. Tell us where you're using it, how you're using it, why it works.
So first of all, I am a huge fan of blockchain and the technology. And we had the first SEC-approved money market fund, a 40 Act mutual fund. The SEC had us run the shareholder servicing system. We used to run our own in-house. We're one of the few firms that did, and the one that we built on blockchain. So these are the records of the shareholders. And we parallel processed for a period of 6 to 8 months. And we were astonished by how much less costly it was to run it on blockchain. It's a very efficient technology. And we think it's going to open up a lot new investment opportunities. And honestly, eventually, I think ETFs and mutual funds are all going to be on blockchain. There's a huge cost in financial services to reconciling data between systems. And then once you reconcile it within your own firm, you then got to reconcile it with your counterparty. In the case of blockchain, there's only one source of truth. That transaction happens, everybody has the source of truth. And so that drives out a lot of costs. And when you can drive out the friction in a transaction, you can start to invest in new areas.
All right. Now, folks, the GameStop thing has poked its head up again. When the whole GameStop, I don't even know all of the terminology for it, but when that happened, it happened during COVID, where the GameStop stock started going crazy, and Robinhood had turned off the buy button, and there was a whole controversy around it. At the time, I was not really following it much and did not know much about it, but now, in hindsight, now that I do understand it and I've seen some things on it, it intersects with crypto to me. It intersects with ETHgate specifically, and I think we're all kind of, if you really take a step back, we're kind of like the rebels of finance, but more importantly, we're rebels against a government gone wild that no longer represents the people. We're sick and tired of it, and I think the GameStop thing was a flash in that pan as well. So what I'm going to talk about today in DAI XRP, this time I am going to cover it. DAIXRP.com. I'm going to wet your whistle with the GameStop thing and tell you what you need to do to understand this going forward, because I'm going to be talking about it, and it'll be interesting to see where all this goes. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, tell your friends and family. Here we go.